There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? This to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and where
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not, really? This to me. Right. Idiot.
Like on my bells. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and where about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not, really? This to me. But I have to put her on the side and where about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and where about the boys.
Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. What a great Sunday evening, and welcome to everybody that is joining us. Thank you to everybody who has come over from the interview room. Fascinating show. I will never get the answers that I want for my dog because there are no answers. So what say you, Chris? Your experts can't help me, and they certainly can't help you. I see the mischievousness going on back there.
You know, the suspect is in the lineup right behind me. And look at him right there. So, as you know, he had Karen's hair thing. And I asked him, I said, all right, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you, so you choose. You understand these rights? And look at him.
Yeah. I saw him bark when you said that to him.
Yeah, look at him. He knows. He knows exactly what time it is. It's great to be here, bud.
Where did he steal that from? He just found it.
You know, just like Otis.
Yeah,
these guys, they figure out, you know what? Oh, what's that? And then they hide it. And right when nobody's looking, they start doing their little thing right here. But you go, boy. Yeah. Yeah, he knows he got busted.
He's like, why are you talking? Why are you doing this to me?
He knows he got busted. Oh, anyway, hey, it's great to be here in the lab and in the tube.
Yes, sir.
Shake me up
here. And I was going to tell you, so what Otis does is if he gets a wrapper or something like that, he kind of welcomes the confrontation when you go and get it out of his mouth. But what he does is you start digging around in there and he hides it either under his tongue or in his upper lip. He goes the upper decker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're in there and it's like, he thinks it's funny, but when you find it, he doesn't find that funny. And he throws himself down on the ground and is just upset. Can't believe you found it. It was all fun. You took my stuff, yet he's got a whole pile of toys sitting over there. So, you know,
yeah,
they're just mischievous, beautiful little creatures but he knows he's in trouble. He knows he got caught.
Well, I don't, all I have to do is just kind of raise my voice for a second, just a little. Right. And this is the result. So I don't discipline him.
Yeah.
But he's so cute. He's pretty tough to get mad at. He just looks at you like, I was more worried about him destroying this because it's Karen's, for her hair. It's one of those things. And anyway, he's mad.
I've worn one of those before. Remember, I was Jim Belushi on Saturday Night Live, the chef.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I remember something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember something close to that. Yeah. Do tell.
I have put, it's not a good look. I put my hair in a man bun before and I was mocked mercilessly and probably deservingly so. But it's like I have hair, so I'm going to grow it. Sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
A lot of guys in even their mid 30s, and the roof is gone. George Jefferson, baby, it's gone. And I'm very happy and fortunate to not be in that position yet. So, why not?
There you go. I mean, as add a corn dog to it and it's happening. I mean, you've got it rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, don't think that I didn't hear your corn dog joke during your show. I've heard it very loud and clear.
I just have one question. You know what it is?
No. I did not eat a corn dog today. No. Was that the question? I did have one 2 days ago, though.
Can you hear that?
No, I actually can't. What is it?
I'll wait. If you can't hear it, I'm not gonna do it again.
I'm glad that I can't hear it because it sounds.
I can hear it. How come I can hear it? You can't hear it?
I can't hear it.
You can't hear that.
Well,
you've got to help me redesign this board.
I'm going to get right on that because I don't even know what's on the other side of there.
I think I just messed up something and now I've kind of let a cat out of a bag. So
I gotta put it back. There's nothing there.
It's something. It's here. Trust me. It's in my headphones. But anyway, I'll figure it out. And when I do,
absolutely cannot wait to hear it. And I will help you with it because fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
And I give it to you just as much. But anyway, Chris, so I wanted to thank you for being here. And what a week, it's been. Next week, we got a lot of anniversaries coming up. Michael Vaughn, Summer Wells, I believe Daniel Robinson is coming up on a year. A young man out of I believe Utah, Dylan Rounds, recently went missing. That's another case that has captivated people's minds and imaginations. I've spoken with the mother. We are going to link up, but right now they're searching. I mean, they're just out there. They're looking. Sounds just like a terrible situation, and hopefully the young man who is 19 is found and found healthy. He went missing on Labor Day, and I'm sure you've heard of it. Just a tragic story, and the more days that pass, Chris, how this goes. It's a very tough situation, and I applaud them for even doing media and for even getting out there searching. They want all the resources and help that they can get. And so, that is something that we will be talking about. But she's out there, and she wants to find her son, and we support all that. So I don't know if you had heard of that case yet.
Yeah, I'm very aware of it. In fact, I had somebody from Idaho. Remember Jake? I don't know if you remember Jake. Jake, he'd been on my show a couple of times, and he gave me the 411 on the things that have been found, and that mom and dad were out there, and the young man would have, trying to start his own little business on his own little piece of property and doing all those things that any 19-year-old would do. And again, it always comes down to, who was the last POC, the point of contact, in relationship to, who did he run into? And I understand there was some weird vagrant of some sort, and now his boots have been found, and
the man
on the boots, my understanding.
The man that people have accused is in custody for unrelated charges.
Mm-hmm.
The boots that were found, and this is now public information, but that in the mother interview said that the boots were found about 100 yards from his wheat truck, and the young man is just wanting, like you said, wanting to become a farmer, and he's a hardworking young man. And I believe they found a spot of blood on the boots.
Right.
So, it screams foul play. I mean, it just from the top, they haven't said that or anything yet, but I mean, you would think that's what how the parents feel. And I can understand that. And so, but it does sound like there's some foul play there. But, as this investigation rolls along, I'm sure and hopeful that more answers for the family. It's a very tragic situation. So, but that being said, how is it when you find boots with blood on them, and I don't know how much blood was found. I mean, would you, as a detective, would you look at that right away as suspicious circumstances, possible foul play?
Yeah, I mean, especially if there's blood, then the first thing you want to do, obviously, is get those to the lab right away, get DNA from all the family members, and see if there's a correlation there. If that blood belongs to the victim, i.e., the young man, then you know what you're dealing with right away. And so now what you try to do is you work backwards in relationship to, okay, how does this get on that, i.e., why is somebody bleeding in the desert? And so you've got to work your way back, and then you go right into the victimology, and then you look for points of contact, and you start looking at any of the forensics evidence. You start banging around at discovering who this person was, which, the mom, the dad, the cousins, grandparents, whoever, anybody in the family circle, and to try to get an idea of, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which creates behavior. And you start working your way into it. From the outside in, and then of course you start looking at the geographical aspects of where the body could have been, should have been, would have been, i.e., is he alive, is he out there somewhere? And so it's important at this point that victimology be done correctly and quickly, and it's been a while, so I don't know what the sheriff's department's done, but it's also critical that they cooperate with the family and give them a liaison right away, and let that let that set in pretty quickly.
Right.
That relationship.
And he is listed as a just a missing person, 19 years old, and whole life ahead of him, hardworking young man, salt of the earth. Ranching and farming is just impossibly hard work, and fewer and fewer of our children want to roll their sleeves up and get to work, and I applaud anybody that does that. It's a very hard job, and it seems as though he was completely dedicated. It sounds like this is his third time out there working this, his third summer or whatever it is. So, hopefully there will be a resolution and a good one. It's just, we just pray for that family, and
Well, keep me posted.
I absolutely will. And I've obviously thrown you in the mix.
Okay.
Like I always do. Hey, I know a guy. I know a guy, but it's just so much easier when people support and help instead of doing the complete opposite, which we have a lot of that going on as well. The number down at the bottom there is the call-in number, 888-976-7521. We'll take some phone calls tonight as well, case related, or if you just have a comment that you would like to share as well, feel free. I'll take as many as I can, and I apologize if I don't get to everybody. And so that being said, we'll take some phone calls as they come in. But by the way, did you see that corn dog that I scored the other day? Seriously, I sent you a photo. I also posted it on Instagram. Unbelievable.
I did, with the ketchup packet and the mustard.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I also saw you in a corn dog costume. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
It's been floating around, but it'll be surfacing soon.
A corn dog costume.
It'll be surfacing.
Oh, okay.
When necessary.
Well, I'm sure it will be. It sounds like you've been making trips to the library.
I have been making trips to space and back. If you were just on the last show, I got knocked off.
I saw it.
Power surge. I had to go to space.
Yeah.
I ran into Elon Musk folks while I was up there and just said hi for a couple minutes, and Starlink, and I shot myself back down to Earth, and boom, I was back in the show.
You feel better now?
I feel much better. Thank you.
We got our first caller. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi. Yes, I only have 5% on my phone, so we make it disconnected. But I yesterday I was walking my dog, and I come across this older man in a car with a young boy on his lap, like in the back of a shopping area, really a shady spot to park, not a park spot where people could see you. And instantly I was like, felt that it was a bad thing was happening there, because he was kind of like petting his head. And so what do I do in a situation like this?
You call the police immediately. If you
I told the security guard that was at the shopping center thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have called the police.
Okay. I mean, whenever, yeah.
It kind of freaked me out, really, because, all this I'm seeing on YouTube and all this, and then, so, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Best thing to do always, call the cops in any situation that you think is dangerous. Security guards are there to stop people from stealing items. Chris, what say you?
No, I think that's right.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check it out again and do the right thing.
Yeah.
No, you did the right thing by at least giving it to the security guard. But next time, just keep following your gut. Take a picture of the vehicle. Take a picture of the license plate, even though it may turn out to be nothing. Could be his grandfather. You never know. But that kind of thing. But when you call 911, you just say, "Hey, I've got a really bad feeling about this, and this is the reason why," and tell them what the circumstances are. Here's the license plate, and that way, if they get their and the car's gone, at least they can track it down.
Right. Exactly. They always say that thing was see something, say something. And
911.
It's always better to be safe than sorry. This is obviously completely different than people calling CPS on each other from across the country. That's not what we're talking here. You see something, don't hesitate and let law enforcement figure it out. There was a girl that just lived up the street from me, and she had ran away. I had never seen her before, but when I say she ran away, she walked out of her parents' house and she was leaving. She was an underage, she was a minor, and I was outside and they pulled up right in front of me and basically tried to force her in the car. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know these people. And I said, Hey, what are you doing? I said, stop. And I got my phone and I said, I'm calling the police. This is my daughter. I said, well, I don't know that. I'll let you guys sort it out, but you're not going anywhere. And I took a picture of them, and turns out it was their daughter. How am I supposed to know? And if I would have I could have been completely wrong. But that was, telling somebody, I had a feeling it was their daughter because they were trying to force her into the car right in front of me. And I was just like, whoa. Like, we're not doing, I can't just ignore that. And I didn't. And, but that was for the police to figure out, not me. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. I was thinking, what are the odds of somebody getting abducted right in front of me? Are probably low, but I didn't know. I had no clue at all, and so that was how I handled it. So I don't know. I think I did the right thing in that situation. I would think. But
it never hurts to follow your gut.
I mean, did you get called out on a lot of things like that?
I didn't get called out on stuff like that, but if it was a scenario that, the officers, first responders got onto, then of course, they assess it pretty quickly, and then they would call us if it was something that just DLR didn't look right.
And sometimes things definitely don't look right, but I mean, who knows, especially in today's day and age, everybody is kind of suspect, I guess you could say.
Well, today they take pictures of, Karen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and there are some crazy people out there. There's no question they need to chill. But at the same time, whenever there's children involved, pay attention to, the hand signal, pay attention to that kind of stuff. So sad, but true.
Yeah, it is a very terrible situation here. I got somebody's calling the old number. You're going to have to call the 888-976-7521, and we will answer your questions for you, Chris. Well, let's just hold that thought and we'll come right back there.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I got through.
You're through.
All right. This is Lulu from Texas.
What's going on?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing good. I just got done feeding the kids, so I wanted to come say hi.
How are you?
Hold on a second.
Howdy.
I'm good. I'm sorry. Hang on, y'all. I'm not going to drag this. Hold on.
You're all right.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can.
You great.
All right. I just wanted to call and I wanted to thank you both. I just feel like this is kind of a statement, not really a question, but with all of the craziness that's been going on in the last, several weeks, Josh, your stream the other day, I think it was called like the uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was amazing and fantastic. And I know I'm not the only one that watched it more than once. But you said a lot of things that needed to be said. and a lot of things that gave, not just creators, but subs alike, a moment to pause and think, because, I kind of feel like not everyone, but several have gotten away from the fact that, there's a missing 5-year-old girl, and there's other missing children, and our focus has been lost for a little bit. So thank you for helping us, remember what's important and what we need to try and do moving forward. Because, this community, people have a lot to say about this community, but I think it's great. And I think there's more good people than not. So I wanted to thank you for that.
I agree with you. And Lulu, thank you so much for saying that. Lulu is one of our fantastic mods over here. She's been with us for quite some time, and always been, a great supporter and moderator here. And so I appreciate you saying that. It was definitely something that was on my mind and on my heart. Sometimes when I do those kind of shows, I don't necessarily pre-plan anything other than I just start kind of speaking how I feel.
It came from your heart.
It really did. And it was, it's therapeutic for me too, because even though I'm saying it, I'm listening to myself going, you can't just preach it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously we all fall short of things, but one of the main things, especially in any community, not YouTube, not anything, is it's not that hard to treat people decent. It's just not. Even if you don't like them. There's a lot of people I don't like that I smile and shake their hands and say, have a good day. And I truly hope that. Has anybody ever had a coworker they didn't like working with? I think everybody's had that. Yeah. You have to be civil. Civility is out the window, it seems like, especially in our neck of the woods.
Yeah. And it affects people, like their mental health. I don't know how many comments I've seen from people saying, I have to take a break from this platform. I'm taking a few days off. Like, it really does affect, it affects everyone in different ways. And I kind of feel like we forget that because, if we're in a zone and we're really protective of, let's say, a creator, and you see someone in there that you don't think should be in there and you go hard in the paint on them, we don't realize that person that you're saying that to, they may have kids. They may be just like you. And you may not realize it in the moment, but you are going to affect them when they log off.
Absolutely. And, people say, YouTube isn't real life. Well, these are real people with real feelings and they're alone with their real thoughts after everything's over with. So it's not as simplistic. And if that's the way that people want to justify their actions, well, they've got another thing coming, because that's not the way life works. But Lulu, thank you so much for coming. Did you want to say anything to Chris? The man of the hour right here.
Oh, I'm good. I'm hi,
sorry.
Lulu. How are you? No, I'm glad you said that about Josh. That's awesome.
Things, of course. I always call Josh like my internet brother because,
absolutely.
He helps me be a better person. But Chris, you are also I want to say my internet uncle.
I can be your grandfather. It all depends what.
You are always classy and always have the most amazing information. And I just appreciate it so much.
You're very kind.
I came to YouTube a year ago. I used to just watch music videos. My daughter was born and the Summer Wells case came about, and something stopped me in my tracks. And your interviews in the very beginning set the tone for this entire community. So I want you to know that, we all, including myself, appreciate you so much.
Well,
and
you're very kind.
I just start calling you Uncle Chris.
Oh yeah, call me Uncle Chris. You can call me, McFluff, McDoofus, McDonuts. I'm good with all of it.
Uncle McFluff.
Uncle McFluff. Okay.
There you go. Thank you for your kindness, though, and I'm very considerate of you to say that.
Another caller can join in.
Oh, thank you so much, Lulu, for calling in, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
All right, Uncle McFluff. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Civility is a lost art. I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know. So it was just in the morning, and I was doing some research and drinking some coffee, and I just felt, I don't know. Did you catch the show?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I watch all your stuff.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I try not to come off as as I'm preaching or talking down or whatever. More so, just trying to not necessarily inspire, but just try to give words of wisdom that have been given to me that made sense to me, that I try to use going forward. And if it helps people, then it does. And let's go ahead and take a call here. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, I wanted to speak directly to Chris for a moment, although I do love you, Josh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chris, I've asked this on comments before, and I really think about this a lot. You interviewed Candace Belay, that's the mom's name, not the grandma, the mom. And she sounded so normal. And she never sounded normal again, anywhere, at any time. I really think you should get an award for that interview from like somebody, but why do you think she could pull it together for you and has never been able to do that again?
Well, two things. One, and thank you for your call here, and thank you for your kindness. I think Candace that day felt comfortable enough that there was a part of whenever somebody wants to tell the truth, they get to a place where you can physically see an emotional change in them. And because they've been, telling kind of half truths for so long that they realize they can let their barrier down, and they come to this understanding within inside of themselves that says, okay, it's time. I think Candace felt it was time at that moment. And I really mean this in all sincerity, that there was a situation that appeared while we were at that waterhole where she was emotionally distraught. I mean, she was just crying. She was close to an end in terms of wanting to tell, and we'll never know what it was at this point because it got interrupted. And when it got interrupted, she looked at me, and it was as if, she went from 0 to 60 and just immediately went right back into, okay, I got to keep the story going here. She fell to the ground. Actually, she sat down on the ground on a rock, and I felt so bad for her, to be honest with you. And I reached out and I told Karen, I said, turn off the camera. And the camera turned off, and I knelt down beside her and I said, look, this is the opportunity to tell it. And she looked me right in the eyes, and she goes, I believe that God is punishing me. And the whole world feels like it's coming down on me. And at that moment, she was just in massive amounts of, emotion and tears. And it was sincere. At that moment was sincere. There were other times in that interview, obviously, she's selling soggy bread, and, I'm not buying it. Okay. But she knows that, and I know that she knows that I know that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh.
I didn't say anything. It's her caller's phone or device is up. Go ahead, Chris.
No. Okay. And anyway, that, I hope that answers your question. I really felt that she got to that place.
Are you there?
I'm there.
Okay.
What brought on the question? What's your thought?
You're cutting out. I can't hear you. I muted my YouTube.
Oh, no, that's okay. He wanted to know what brought on that question and what's your thought?
I don't know. The difference is so stark, and it has been consistently that way. I don't. I mean, I think Chris's interview was totally something very special.
Well, it definitely was, and I absolutely appreciate the call. I'll give you my thoughts here. I'm going to hang up because we got more callers coming in, but thank you so much.
Okay.
Where are you calling from?
Phoenix, this is Tony.
Tony, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Bye now.
All right. Take care. So I'll tell you personally why I think that she was more put together when you talked to her. Well, it only been a couple weeks. She's on her best behavior. She's working with the cops. They're portraying an image of wanting to help. Well, all that went out the window after about a month or so, but it was so fresh, in my personal opinion, that she was on her best behavior with her Mom Patrol shirt, and that she was somewhat, she was sober for that interview. It seemed that she was.
Yeah, 100%.
But she was just, like, remember when Don was wearing button ups and slicking his hair back and walking around with a Bible? That was really early on. Then he was wearing spackled clothes with a spackled hat and a bottle of R&R. They were just on their best behavior. So to me, you got one of the earliest, besides WJHL, where, and I don't know, I'm not a drug expert or anything. She looked a little out of it on that one, but that could have been from numerous things, but it was just 10 days or so after. But I think that they've gone through these waves of trying to clean up their act, and some, 3 weeks after, was it 3 weeks? Was that it?
Approximately. Yeah.
About 3 weeks, they're still on there because that was when they were leaning heavy on the church, with Miss Robin and, I don't know, the flute guy and, all that stuff. So that's, her support was never better. Meaning at that time, people were still like, well, we're on the fence here. We don't know, but she has local support. She has, she's got church support. And that really, to me, but you also made her comfortable. There's that one point.
She didn't trust me. I mean, when I met her up at the church in the parking lot. And as she came out, she came out of her car, the little red Subaru, and she walked up to me. And I introduced myself, and, she introduced herself, and I complimented her on the Paw Patrol shirt, which was kind of cool because somebody had made that for Summer, for her. And, she is Summer's mother. Even at that point, whether or not, somebody has done something, you have to remember you get a lot more by being kind to people than you do by berating them. And even if they've done the most horrific things on the earth, which basically, the human spirit is capable of doing some crazy stuff. And I've talked to enough people in my time, like, the next guy, where, you just respect people, and that's what you get in return. And the kind of people that don't do that are the ones that get the blowback constantly. And in her case, I said to her, look, no matter what you say to me, it's not going to change the circumstances. Summer's missing. You may know something about it. You may be even involved in it. I don't know that. But I'm here to help whatever that circumstance is and to find your daughter. And I would wish and hope and ask that we cooperate together. And in that, we may be able to do something. And so I think at that moment, she trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she lowered her guard, for lack of a better term. But I don't think it's a guard against, the public. I think it's a guard against Don. I really do. I felt that from day one because he never showed up, number one, and he was supposed to be with her. Okay, but that's another day. But so she's living in that umbrella of all the other major stuff going on in that house.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me see here. It looks like we have a caller. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hi. It's Debbie from England.
Debbie from England.
Hi,
hello. Yeah. I didn't expect to get three so quickly. I've only just dialed the number. How are you guys?
Doing well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking.
Right. Can I just say I absolutely love your show, Josh.
Thank you.
Great. Same too. Great follower. Very rarely catch you live. It's 3:20 in the morning in England right now. So I always have to catch you on the replays, unfortunately. So it's so good to catch you on the lives. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
What I call for really is I just can't get over this case. I've been following it from the beginning like yourselves. And it's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing, the amount of different angles that it goes off on. And I've never known anything like it in my life. So it's just unbelievable, isn't it? The amount of players that are involved. But I just want to say that out of all the creators, there's a very, very select few who I absolutely love to watch. And you two are top of the list.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say hi.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate that, Debbie. She gone.
Well, that was sweet.
Debbie, in and out, man. That is so great. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
You know. That was sweet. Debbie, in and out, man. That is so great. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
You turn your device down or just mute it in the background if you're there. I don't know if you're there. You were on hold. So
yes.
Oh, you're there.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I am in Washington. My name's
Welcome to
Lisa.
the show.
Thank you. So I have two quick questions. One, what do you guys think of the footprints that were found? Do you think those are Summer's footprints or somebody else's? And then the other question is, Chris, the night before last, I think it was, you did a show live or whatever. And you said that Don had previously tried to sell one of his children for drugs. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, he what he did is he tried to give one of the children away, and he was hiring a kite, and it was when one of his children were young, and he basically was standing on a corner with a sign, wanting to trade, and one of the family members came back to the house where other family members were, told everybody about it, and all those family members went out there and basically said, what are you doing? And so he was he was what they called jonesing, right? Back in the day. He was looking for dope, and he's trying to cop dope, and so he was willing to do a trade for one of the kids. Fortunately, that it didn't happen, and the children are safe today in terms of they weren't given away for dope. And there was another circumstance where he left one of the children at one of his dealer's houses, and the family had to go get that kid.
Is that Chris? Is that obviously I don't have to say, you don't have to say which kid, but was it one of the current four?
No, it's not these, not
the set of kids. Okay.
Right.
So this is a while back, but nonetheless, it was done.
Right.
Wow.
Dope makes you do. Remember the old saying, "This is your brain on drugs." And they drop
Yeah.
the egg.
I
Well,
certainly do
that's your
remember.
brain on drugs right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what was the first question?
Footprints, Summer's footprints.
Yeah, I have absolutely no way of knowing anything. I've heard
Summer's footprints.
Right. I don't know personally. It's just one of those things where I don't know if there's anything to it or if that was just kind of thrown into the ether. There's been so many things that are unverified when it comes to this stuff. And I just don't know. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, it could be. Anything's possible.
I mean, she did run around there.
Yeah, I mean, if again, one of the scenarios, if she's out playing hide and seek, if she's walking around that property, if that kind of thing, that's still on the board.
Absolutely,
still on the board.
And thank you so much for your call. Did you say you're calling from Washington?
Yep, Washington State.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your call, and thank you for watching the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I mean, yeah, it absolutely could. It absolutely could be, but I mean, it's just it's just hard to really know.
If you look at Don's behavior, okay, and we just that caller for an example, right? What's going to be a predictive analysis in relationship to Don's behavior? Well, here's the simple answer to that. Three sentencing hearings to state prison host that behavior. Okay. So Don is what you would call a career criminal because he's been to prison 3 separate times in 3 separate states. Now, you can justify all day long people saying, well, I believe A, B, C, and D. Well, that's fine. And everybody's entitled to an opinion. That's great. In my world, for the last 40 years, right? If you've been in prison 3 times, guess what? I'm going to take a hard look at you and find out why you went to prison all those years. And guess what those common denominators typically are? Drugs and alcohol. Okay? It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It means he did bad things while potentially high or getting high or trying to get high. And that, weighs out.
Exactly.
He's in jail right now for what? Alcohol. It doesn't get any clearer than that.
No, it absolutely doesn't. 423, that looks like East Tennessee. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Oh, you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
All right.
Thank you for waiting on hold. I appreciate exciting. That. And the others, if you stay on hold, I will get to you. So go ahead, caller. I believe you're calling from Tennessee.
I am. I'm about 50 minutes from Ben Hill. I'm in Greenville, Tennessee. My name is Kathy, and I watch you all the time. And anything you have, I watch.
Thank you.
But I have a terrible thing that's bothering me. I don't know if I'm sure they're aware, but where we live, and probably the Wells too, we don't have trash pickup. We have to take our trash to what is called a convenience center. And it's a fenced-in area with about 12 dumpsters. And each county has several available. Like I could go to 5 different ones that I want, or 6. And nobody watches. There's a guard who usually none of them are probably under the age of 70. And according to the weather, they stay in a guardhouse, so they come out and they watch. But there's no way that anybody would see you dump anything in one of those dumpsters. And some of them have the compactor dumpsters. They're huge. And it just makes me sick. But Jonathan is the one that his channel, when he said it, I was like, did they search the landfill? Did they go to these convenience centers? And I know that's sick, but I personally have always, about Summer, have always thought that she was given away. And she's, there's, the children, women and children's, protection where they take people who are abused or kids and they hide them, and they hide them deep. And I thought that from the start, or an accident. But I've been watching this for day one, and it's sad.
It is, absolutely.
And it's because because it's close to me is how I got started. I, like the other lady said, I used to just watch music and stuff, but now I'm all involved and I watch everybody. But you all are my favorite. I watch anything you put out. And you and Michelle Walks.
I appreciate that.
It's terrible. Yeah, y'all are the bomb.
Well,
I appreciate your work.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question, and I'm gonna mute you now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer your question. But thank you so much for calling and your question. Now, the answer to your question about the landfill things is, and I don't know how Tennessee does it, but I know that a lot of trash companies, they compartmentalize the trash for the days, and so that they can look up the sections, because so many people have been put in landfills and things like that. If Dawn or Candace or somebody went to the landfill that day, I'm sure there's cameras there. I think that they would know. And that would be highly, highly suspicious from the get-go. So I think I understand the question, and like you said, as horrible as it sounds, it happens. But I do believe that that's one of those scenarios that they check, and if necessary, go that route. Chris, you could speak on that a little better than I can. But that's just how I perceive it, because I have thought about that as well.
I mean, just briefly, it's a very methodical process that the government requires. You have to identify the trucks that come in, the companies that they're with, the drivers who are driving them, and then there are geographical assignments to each and every one of those trucks for just this case, for just this reason. So, they just don't randomly pull up in a controlled situation, i.e. a garbage company, and just dump the trash. They pull up, they identify, okay, and then they say, okay, you're over here, so, whatever it is, sector 2, and that trash is dumped, and then it's logged.
Right.
That's where that trash went. So when we get there later on with a search warrant to go search the landfill, we immediately go to those logs, and they say, okay, well, you're looking at grid number 4, section 2, blah, blah, blah. And in today's technology, those tractors have GPS on them. And so I'm sure all those things are being logged.
Yeah, that is definitely a great question, and something that should always be considered when looking for, missing people, children, whoever. So thank you for that call. Caller 620, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Josh, it's Sherry.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, Sherry. What can I do for you?
You know that I love you, but I wanted to tell Chris how much he means to this world. He is like the best guy in the world. You're an angel. I just want to say that I love you and I respect you. Thank you for everything that you've done and that you are doing.
Thank you. You're very kind. We're very grateful for your kindness. hopefully we can make a difference.
And Sherry, what about me?
and I'm glad you said
I
that about Josh.
love your heart, your soul. No, you both are really good guys.
Thank
and I always talk about Chris McDonough on my channel, and I give him kudos to everything.
Yeah,
he's a blessing, absolute blessing.
I feel the
for
same
everything
exact
he's
way.
done.
You know, it's kind of like the potter's field.
I just wanted to say hi.
All right.
And just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you for the phone call, Sherry. You have a good night.
Love you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. It's very nice, right? I mean, they love you.
I know. I'm humbled.
It's hard.
I mean,
It's hard
what
to,
do you say?
it's so nice when people are so kind and you feel humbled. It's hard to say thank you enough, you know. And but you know, people. I feel the same exact way about you when you're not making fun of me about corn dogs. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I actually wanted to say thank you, Josh, for bringing Chris, and say thank you to Chris for sharing your perspective that we otherwise wouldn't, or I've never seen before. I mean, you've really brought something unique, a niche, and you rule.
Well, thank you so much. It was
So
very.
I look at Don as the Three Stooges in one person playing the shell game. And I feel like this is his strategy. And I feel like they confuse everybody until nobody can stand them anymore. And they give up on them and they get away with stuff.
Right.
They're a nightmare.
Tell us how you really feel.
Do you think it? No doubt, right? I need a channel. But seriously, I mean, it is like such a cluster. But I just, I also, let's see. I just want to say, because I don't know that many people focus on this. Whoever did this little girl wrong brought the wrath of hell upon themselves. This little girl has touched so many people in such a deep way. This child was not normal the way that she's touched us all, brought us all together. I've been here since the beginning. I want to know where she is. I've never wavered from that. Cannot stand the arguing between people. And it's just very nice to be here.
Well,
one last question.
Go ahead.
Do you think someone else is controlling the narrative above Candace and Don, or do you think that that this is Don and he's got something on Candace and so now she's shut up again? I don't know.
We'll go ahead and answer that on the other side, but thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. And thank you for waiting
Josh.
on hold.
Have a good one.
You too. I personally don't think that there's anybody that knows anything more than Candace. I think she's the head of the whatever you want to call it. In your eloquent terms, I think you said that they're just a mess or something like that. But I totally agree with you. But I think Dawn and Candace know. I think that they know everything, and that they're the only people that are holding this up are them. Personally, I don't think it goes any deeper than 1, 2, 3, Candace, Grandis, Donald, and it could all end tomorrow if they wanted it to. I just, for that reason, I don't, for various reasons, I don't think that they want it to, and Chris, like you so eloquently said on your show, this isn't going away. No. Everything else has gone away in her life. Everything else has gone away. The state comes in, takes her kids, boom, you're done. Wash your hands, go on your merry way, go start another family if you want. Well, then, but now now you have a child that's unaccounted for, and people take that very serious. We're not going away. It's not going away. You may think that it is, but it's not. It'll never go away until you tell us what happened or until they put a case against you.
Is there anybody in the chat that's had 2 family members evaporate? Just anybody?
I mean, that's a great question. No.
I mean,
I'd be shocked.
If they're out there, okay, then I want to study that case.
Absolutely.
This could be a very unique scenario where the 2 family members absolutely just disappear. One of them being 5 and the other one, being Rose, obviously.
It's just absolutely unheard of.
And I mean, so that's a challenge to YouTube. Have whoever has lost 2 family members to total disappearance, where the FBI and trained, investigators for years and years and years got involved in. And I'm not talking about a Lowe's, security manager for 19 years or 15 years.
Right.
I'm talking about a guy that's actually sat down with, career criminals and murderers and the card team and the FBI and all those other guys. Okay. Have anybody, if you can find me those 2, that couple, that family, I would like to talk to them. And this is all sincerity. Okay. Because I've yet to run across a family, unless it's a third world country, that a war is going on. Okay. But in the United States, 5-year-olds just don't vanish from their property, and mothers just don't leave their children unless there's, some type of breadcrumb and trail left.
Right.
And we don't have that in either one.
You're as always 100% on the mark. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Josh.
Hello.
Can you hear anything in the background?
I can hear maybe a family member.
Can you
That's
hear
it.
me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
You really can?
No, I can. You go ahead. You're perfectly fine.
God, he said, "How are you?" And I was like, "This does not sound like Joshua to me."
How are you?
Hey, this is Proud Mama, and I just wanted to let you know that I have so much respect for the way you handle your show, your business. You have the best community. These lab rats, and then the combination of you and Mr. McDonough is ridiculous. But the reason I decided to test my charity, and I just now called in on a live YouTube channel for the first time in my life.
Well, congratulations. We're happy that you did.
It's not a congratulations for me. It's a congratulations for you. And that's like my way of saying I really respect you guys. Hey, Chris is the one I got a question for.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh.
Go ahead.
So recently I've read some things on social media about you having tunnel vision, or you have, focusing on Dawn. And, I honestly tried to take up for you saying that I didn't think you were quite tunneled in on Don Wells as much as you were tunneled in on his, SA. Like in all the people that have come up. I also thought that it was ridiculous for someone who had been a detective for as long as you have, been a homicide detective. God bless your mustache. I hope it works. Oof. Nevertheless, I don't think you're that tunneled in on Don as you are tunneled in on the house. You said never leave, I never left that house, never left that property, whatever. I don't know, and no one knows that Don is guilty, but I mean, there may be more than one person that knows what happened. And even if Don didn't do it, right? What is the motive? SA. Boom. That's my thought. And that's all I wanted to say.
Oh.
And I wanted to say that you're not tunnel visioned in. You know what you're doing. Of course, you've thought of other things, but it may appear that way because, I mean, DW.
So here's my response to
You know, what
those
would
kind of.
be the motive to, no matter what happened and who was involved, you know, what would be the motive for it happening?
So here's a quick response.
Don't you think?
Here, Mama, here, and thank you very much for calling. Grateful for your comments as well. But here's my response to all of those folks that say those kind of things. Okay. This is my case log from my career. See every one of these names and every one of these entries? These are murders. Okay? These are real victims. These are real suspects. Okay. So anybody who has more experience than these logs right here, give me a call.
I love it. Absolutely. You know, that's another thing is that, we're all like, I'm an amateur sleuther. I'm not law enforcement. I've never worked a homicide case in my life. I know how the system works. I've been in through the system, but people like to take shots and say things. But if you can find somebody more experienced, then, and this isn't focused towards the caller. This is focused on what the caller was saying. It's baffling to me that people think that they know more than the professionals. It just feels weird.
See what that says? Case log Detective McDonough. Every one of these is a case. Every one. See them all in here? Okay. If anybody has more experience than this, I will listen to them. I really will.
Mm-hmm.
Until that time, I don't care what they say. I really don't, because I am interested in finding Summer Wells. They're interested in other things, listening to themselves. I'm not interested in that. I really am not. And, to even respond to that is, quite frankly, I'm stepping out of my zone, and I really shouldn't. But I pulled these out because I was on my program earlier talking to Manny, and we were talking about some other things. But, I've worked well over almost 500 death investigations, 300 homicides, and 200 naturals and suicides. That's almost 500 death investigations. If these people have more experience than me, then I'm going to step back, okay, and listen to what they have to say because they have more experience. Until then, they're unteachable, and quite frankly, their opinion does not count. It really doesn't. It's like telling a heart surgeon how to sew a heart together. I dare not do that in my career or my life. I've learned enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. Thank you so much for the phone call. We'll move right on to 817. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Is this Josh?
Yeah, this is Josh.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, right.
And first of all, I would like to express my deep, deep respect for you and for Chris. And if you don't mind, I have a couple of things that have worried me all this time. Do you mind if I ask Chris?
No, I absolutely do not mind at all.
Thank you, Josh. God bless you. So, Chris?
Yes, ma'am.
There are a couple things that weighed heavy on my mind since the beginning of the Summer Wells case. And one was that first interview of Don and Candace sitting outside. And I don't know who was interviewing them, but Don was saying that he felt so sorry for those searchers out there, and he knew they were so tired. Well, to me, he was basically saying, she's not there, and I know she's not there, and that's a wasted sort of time. And why should he feel bad for the searchers
when he would been pleading with them and been out there with them to search for her. Now, another point is, I lived in Louisiana as a child. There were always old refrigerators on porches way out in the country. And when I saw the video of him walk over there and tap on that refrigerator, I had chills come up just way out in the country. And when I saw the video of him...
I'm sorry about that.
Hello?
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. But I had chills come up on the back of my neck because I was about 4 years old and I closed my sister up in that refrigerator. And had not my mother came out, she would have suffocated. So, you know, you were talking about that hide and seek game.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she crawl in that refrigerator and then someone found her? So it's just a couple of concerns. They may not mean anything, but God bless you for everything that you all are doing. And we pray that we find this little girl.
Thank you so much for your phone call.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling from Dallas.
Bye-bye.
Dallas, Texas, in the house.
Yeah, great observations. That's a great call.
It's you know, that the refrigerator thing is just, yeah, that has always, you know, whenever you see kids playing with like bubble wrap or plastic or anything, you know, it's a scary thing. A refrigerator is no different. And yeah, I mean, it just absolutely, it is a great observation and life experience too. She been there, done that. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. 870.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
I'm great. Calling from Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am.
Chris, I've been watching you a long time, and I would like to know one question. Do you think we will ever see a resolution to Summers' case?
You know, I answer that carefully from you know, my heart that says I'm hopeful that there will be resolution. I know that these guys and gals, you know, from all of the different agencies, I know that Sheriff Lawson, you know, behind the scenes is working hard. I know that you know, his detective is working hard, but there is one thing I would hope and would also ask that we ask as a community is that they give Detective Pruitt all the time he needs and assign a couple of different folks around him with either TBI, FBI, and create kind of a mini task force and give them what we used to call a war room and let him work it full time, because I know for a fact, based on what he said in that news interview, that he doesn't have full-time commitment on this thing, not because he doesn't want to. It's because he's got another caseload. That caseload needs to go away, and this 5-year-old needs to have a full court press. And, you know, it costs money to do that, unfortunately, for budgets and everything. But I know the sheriff's committed to doing that. I know he is. And that's what we can hope for. So I'm optimistic that, yes, this case will be solved, and yes, people will be held accountable, whoever they are. That's my hope.
Thank you so much for that call and question. It's a question that is asked all the time, and I feel the same way, where I always want to ask, is this case going to be solved? So, but thank you so much for calling in, and appreciate it, Arkansas.
Thank you, Josh.
All right. Take care.
You're awesome as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes, ma'am.
Aaron, go ahead. You're on the air.
How's it going, Chris? Hey, Josh and Chris.
Aaron Mole, everybody in the house. How's it
Hey,
going?
Aaron, what's up, buddy?
It's going well. It's going well. Thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely.
Enjoying these streams that you guys have, and I'm trying to get caught up here, but I figured I'd call in. One of the many things I feel like that has just not sat right with me with this case is, and if it's true, I think it is from the interview that Chris had with H, is this supposed phone call that Candace had gotten while they were in line at the Walgreens waiting for the prescription about some guy creeping around the house, or I don't know the exact words that were used. But to me, I feel like if I was a parent and I got a phone call about anybody on my property, if I had kids just inside my house hanging out, playing Minecraft, watching YouTube, whatever they were doing, I feel like I would, rush back to them as quickly as I could, not go get some Sonic and go get a few groceries and spend an hour at the Priceless. And I don't know, the truth to that phone call, but to me, it feels like that phone call was said to make the abduction theory much more believable if there was some guy hanging around the house. But I can't quite remember if that that part of the interview with Chris was exactly accurate, if that phone call actually was, if that actually happened.
You want to handle that one, Chris?
Oh, sure. You're very interesting observation, Aaron. No question about it. And I've watched some of your stuff, so you're a smart cookie, and this is good. And so I agree with you that it could be another red herring that, you've got to put somebody up on the property. And so who could that possibly be, right? Well, we've got this guy hanging out on the property, touching the kids. And, for the comment, to make a phone call and say, hey, by the way, okay. But really is, you dovetail that into the other call that Don makes, the call we know he made. And the question there that H heard was, when are you coming home? That's just as goofy. Why are you asking, when are you coming home, when you're supposed to be at work? And, that didn't make any sense, from the get-go. So those two could be some curveballs to put some of the other scenario in play. It could tie into, some of the dope transaction, theory that, the neighbors are involved. And, I held back Andy for quite some time, about 6 or 7 months, actually. I remember, Josh?
I do, yeah.
And you and I talked about that at length.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about that a long time ago.
Right.
But I didn't know how significant it would have been or not in relationship to the ongoing investigation. So I kind of tucked it away. But that was the name that he gave. And then as all things started to fall into place, the thought process from a lot of folks was he was the one supplying Candace, smoke, marijuana. And so if that was the case, and if that is the case, and we'll find out at some point, I'm sure, then, okay, well, why is that happening? And why is Hunter throwing that into the mix?
Yeah. And it definitely could be something that, hey, we've got to get this tail, rolling here. We've got to, start to build some structure with this lie. And Hunter may have possibly heard that. I mean, he could be lying about it, or they could have done it to try and throw everybody off. I mean, if this was an accident, and then they're like, well, we got to come up with a story and a plan. And here's what you do. Or, I mean, it just could be, like you said, a red herring. It could be nothing. It could be something but it is a great observation. Aaron dropped off the line. But thank you so much for calling, Aaron. And appreciate and respect what you do. We got time for two. We'll take two more, and then answer some of the questions in the chat, and then we'll wrap her up. Lisa, go ahead. You're on the air, Lisa. Maybe Lisa's not on the air. Is Lisa on the air? She's not on the air, guys. I don't know who that is either. Let me see. Can you hear me, Lisa? Did you hang up, Lisa? Oh, hello, Lisa.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm trying to work through this phone system.
How's it going?
It's going
Good.
fantastic.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I was calling to get some clarification. I wanted to see what both of you have to say when the dogs were at the wells. If this first started, it was said they lost the scent at the bottom of the driveway. Then Miss Jody Sue comes in and says they hid on her feet. Which is it? Does anybody know?
That lock the fence, it's a chain. It's just a chain.
Hello?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. It's just a chain that goes across the driveway.
Did you hear my question?
Yes, ma'am. The lock the fence. And then dogs hit on Jody Sue's feet.
Wrap her up. Lisa, go ahead. You're on.
Go ahead, Chris.
Did you copy that? Did you get that?
I got her muted because there's some background noise.
Oh, okay.
But you
So
can
there's
go
just a
ahead.
chain that goes across the driveway. That's what she meant when she said, if she's talking about locking the fence.
Hello?
Hi, Lisa. How are you? Are you there?
There you go.
I don't know anything about the foot thing with the dogs. I really don't. I haven't even looked into it because it's just like I've already done the Jody Sue thing.
Where'd that come from?
It has been floating out there in the ether, but I don't.
Okay, but where did it come from? Do we know?
I don't. Maybe Lisa. Lisa, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah. Where did that come from? The Jody Sue foot dog thing. Did it come from Jody Sue?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Then I have no idea.
And when did it come from her? At what point in the investigation? When did it show up?
I'm here.
Yes. At what point did it show up? Was it,
Yeah, she left. I don't know if somebody. So
okay, but when did it show up? I see everybody in chat. When did it show up, guys?
It's going to catch up to us here.
Okay. Months later. Okay.
Jessica,
Tracy.
go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, are you there?
Yep, sure am.
Okay. Josh, it's Muscles and Mascara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Chris? I love you.
Doing well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I wanted to just throw something out there, and I just wonder, because of the games that we saw these people play, as a local here, I feel like everybody says they're playing games, and they are. But what I want to ask is that it came out that, and I don't know where it came from, so I don't know for sure. And that's the question I have: is where did the hide and seek theory or thought that the kids were playing hide and seek when she went missing? Does anybody know?
Yes. That came right from one of the folks that was there. And it talked to one of the boys directly. And then told me directly and showed me pictures.
Okay.
And just like that.
Well,
go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, my question, and the reason, I'm sorry, there's a delay and it's really hard.
Take your time.
Problem. No worries.
So when they were sitting there playing their video game from the words that we got the first time, is everybody aware, or is someone aware that there's a video game called Hide and Seek? And I just wondered if that was clarified when the boys were asked that question.
So are you talking about is it the Minecraft game, hide and seek?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them, but yeah, Minecraft has one, yes. And then there is a couple more, and even weirdly enough, there's one that talks about like being in a basement and all this weird stuff. And I know that sounds so freaking crazy to even say those things, but it just really made me wonder if it was clarified, were they playing hide and seek like for real, or were they playing it on a video game?
That'd be you, Chris.
No, I mean, this goes back to, the question the other night where we were talking about this idea. Was it outside? Was it a video game? Was it the church, where they have the hide and seek, something to do on the Sabbath? Is it something that was, they were doing in relationship to, video kind of stuff like you're talking about? I don't know if we know that answer. What we do know is they told the authorities, the boys, one of them, that they were playing hide and seek. Now, what that means, I don't know. In relationship to those three possibilities. And it's also interesting. There's another correlation to, an apology from one of the children. Well, why are you apologizing? It wasn't my fault. Okay, well, see, all of that has been off limits for rightfully so for the boys. They've been through enough. And so I personally have stayed away from it. But I did talk to the authorities, and that's what I was told. And where this foot thing comes from, the dog's going to the bottom of the hill or whatever to Jody Sue's feet, this is, I don't know where that's come from personally, but okay, if she says that, then why? That's going to be my question to Jody Sue is, why are they at your feet? I just had a show on dogs, and the Manny just told a story about a dog, on a lead, got to the outer perimeter where the suspect was and ran into a police officer. And then the dog wanted to go past the cop. Maybe the dog wanted to go past her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there isn't, maybe it didn't happen. Because remember, I always believed that Summer ran around that property so much, chasing those boys on the motorcycles, that her scent's everywhere on that property, and it would make sense to go down to the road. What I've always contended with, I find it really difficult to believe that a total stranger showed up on that property to take that little girl. Now, she could have been taken off the property, but whoever did it has familiarity with that property. They know that property.
That's for sure.
What is all that beeping?
It's the call, and it's supposed to be muted, but it isn't, and I can't do it in the middle of the show.
No, it's cool.
It's fantastic. It's just the best thing ever. I love it. Thanks, Chris. You love it. Yeah, me too.
Sorry, I'm answering all the questions, buddy. I mean,
they're not calling for me. They're calling for you.
No, I know, and that's why this is your show. I don't want to.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, you answered. You answer the questions very well, and thank you, Jessica, so much for that as well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here. We got a couple. Let me just run through this here. So it says, Enchanted Life has says, hello, Chris McDonough. Thank you for saying things nobody else would in this case at times regarding certain people and how they can.
There's another smart one right here. ELP.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
I watch your stuff. Just let you know.
Sunday night with Josh and Chris, priceless. Thank you both for everything you do. Thank you again, Lulu, for calling in. Candace, please calls Chris before it's too late. Time to bring your baby home. Kate says, absolutely. What do you think of the PI using a drone now? The Wells hired them. No, I think it's pro bono work. I don't think that the Wells have hired anybody to do anything related to finding Summer. They make it seem that way, but the Wells didn't hire anybody. This is all pro bono work. And
well, I'll raise the drone to a TBI helicopter with electronics on it, FLIR, a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
I'll raise you one TBI helicopter for one PI drone.
I would take that as well. And thank you so much for that super sticker, Michelle Sanchez, as well. Aaron, there you are. Aaron, you dropped off. Sorry about that, man, but thank you for all the for being such a good guy and classy guy. Vet girl, Mr. Chris McDonough, I was watching you drive on Ben Hill. I noticed a yellow can left side. Was that a yellow garbage can service? Thank you.
A yellow can, vet girl, but refresh my memory because I don't recall that one. There was, there was obviously some wood out in front of their property, and that goes up. It's a really narrow road, but that place is definitely off the map once you get up in there. So I don't know what yellow can you're talking about, to be honest with you. I forget.
Yeah. There was looked like there was an old was it a well? Like it was like the weird little near the bus, but I don't remember on the video scene. I have to go back and look because I mean that is completely possible. But it doesn't sound like anybody's allowed to search around that property anymore, which is always weird. Always facts, never fiction. Always appreciated. Josh and McFluff, thank you so much for that as well. Judy, thank you. Lady May says, Chris, if Starlink is in the Subaru, why can't that be tracked, or did LE do that already? I mean, they said that they've collected binders of stuff, and so I'm assuming that they have collected it, no doubt. But once again, they're not going to tell it. Like one of the things that I want to hear the most in this case is I want to hear, and we'll get to see it when it happens if it goes to trial, the 911 calls. The 911 calls are going to tell so much, but they will not release those while the investigation's going on, along with the Starlink navigation, where everybody was. There's been they have a baseline for where everybody is and was, what their story is, and rest assured it's not going to match up like with the way that the data is gonna tell. So they have a lot of work to do. And Chris, back to your point earlier when you were saying that they need like a team, like a war room for. I would absolutely agree with that. I'm hoping that they don't need it, and that's why they haven't done it. That's just me personally, but that's my hope. So
well, I think they have to do it. And I'm sure they have done it because, that's why the CAS team's involved. Right. And all that stuff was sent back to the lab in Quantico. So and I'm pretty confident they did it.
Very good. And Muscles and Mascara, thank you for the phone call. Rock stars, thank you both. Love you both. Justice for Summer. Absolutely. And that's why we're here. Hold on a second here. I can't believe I got cut out with asking a question. Thank you so much for her work. What Debbie, Debbie, you didn't get cut off. You hung up, I thought.
Hopefully she can ask it. Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat, Debbie.
And
we would love to answer that question. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the oddest cases that, I mean, it's just it gets worse and worse every day. There's a new. I've noticed though that we have started to recycle a lot of, like, this whole Jody Sue thing is kind of like come back around again.
I still want to talk to Andy.
Yeah,
You and I both have invited him to come to your show.
That'd be great.
Neutral Ground. We talked to Jody Sue behind the scenes. You know, she said that, you know, whatever she said, and we didn't record it. We told her we didn't. And, right? I mean, you and I were both there.
We were both there. I mean, we talked for a long time.
We'd love to talk to Andy, your ex. And anytime he wants to call, we're still here. And we asked that probably 4 months ago. Whatever it was, 3-4 months ago. So if he's interested in talking, I think Andy's starting a channel. Good. Justice, hey, hi Justin, and you know that'd be great. Then maybe he'll invite us on as a guest.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, but that would be great. We'll be there with bells on. Let's see. I don't see
that whole neighborhood's got so much dope in it. I mean, up in that, man, I went the moment I went up in there, I was like, well, you know, but then there's good people, you know, around there, right? And it's kind of like living in LA, where you know you just got these pockets of problems.
Mhm.
So I think that I don't think Andy will talk to me personally, but
I think that the reason, like you just said there, though, is that it's off the beaten path. You know, I mean, they're really, it's kind of the underbelly. You know, Penn Hill Road is not exactly Broadway. So once again, in that, we'll tell you again why it would be so odd and so out of character for somebody to go up there, a stranger, without knowing anything, what room she could be in, what part of the house she's in, because it's not exactly like that house is laid out in a normal, I mean, there are doors and stuff, but there were people supposedly all over the place. I mean, you got what, 5 people that are supposed to be there, and possibly more. Who knows? That's where it all gets really, really confusing. And it's been confusing, but you know, nevertheless, Chris, I want to thank you for coming up here and doing your thing. I know you've had a long day. You're Manny and his son, and I don't remember the other man's name on your show. If you haven't watched it yet, head on over. You want to learn something about dogs? Why don't you go on over there? I got a dog that they can train. Good luck. And I don't care how skilled they are. Caesar Milan couldn't handle my dog. I'll tell you that. And I don't know where Buddy went, but he was right behind you.
You know, that little rascal just went down into his little cubby hole over here, and he's sound asleep.
He's done.
It's been a great day, Josh. Seriously, it really has. And you know, I always appreciate having the invite to come over here. And you know, I'm so grateful that your channel is exploding, and hopefully it passes mine. To be honest with you, you know, you got to get one of those, and you can put it in the background and say, okay, there it is. But it's about the people. You folks that are inside of this chat right here, I am grateful for each and every one of you personally. I know Josh is. I'm not going to speak for him, but you know, he's my buddy, and you know, we hope that you're enjoying and learning and teaching us simultaneously about a lot of different things. And Vet Girl, I'll take a look at it. I saw your note in the chat there, so I'll go ahead and go back and pull that up, and hopefully we'll be able to get an answer for you on that yellow thing. But you know, we're grateful to have this opportunity to help and to share and to make a difference. And that Sean Myers, he's out there in the trenches. He's a sworn active law enforcement guy, and he's pushing a car every night. And you know, he's got a little dope dog named Cooper. And Coop just hit on a couple of pounds of, you know, coke or meth or something recently.
Huge.
You know, this fentanyl is a really bad problem, and it's getting dangerous out there, even for, you know, your average person that's trying to get off of that stuff, which it's just hell.
I mean, it is a major problem.
It's really tough, and it's very dangerous.
I lost a friend last year.
Yeah, well, we've lost 103,000 Americans this year. Even though they may have drug addiction, it doesn't mean they're all bad people. It means they have bad problems.
Exactly.
And now there are some knuckleheads in between all of that, but you know, they don't. A lot of times they're hiding from pain. They're not running, you know, from change, and that addiction problem becomes a serious issue. And I've always had a lot of compassion for them, and because a lot of times they end up being the ones on the street and in my case log. And so I've met a lot of families with these problems. So fentanyl needs to get off the streets. We need to be more considerate and kind to each other. And we need to hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button for Josh's channel. We need to get him up to, you know, get those numbers up for him. So anyway, Josh, thank you again. Have a great night,
Chris.
God bless you. Tell all your mods I say aloha.
Absolutely.
And all you lab rats, get me out of the tube. So I'm gonna say,
have a
see
good
you
night.
later.
Thank
All
you.
right, bud.
Bye-bye. And there you have it, folks. Another great show. Thank you to Chris McDonough of the interview room, Karen as well, for giving us a little extra Chris. It's always good and fun. And so thank you guys so much. Gwen, thank you for that as well. Thank you for all the super chats and super stickers, new members, new subscribers, people commenting, you know, hit that thumbs up on the way out. It helps a whole lot for the algorithm as this channel grows. We appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for the support. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for being here.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? This to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and where
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has.
is not, really? This to me. Right, idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and where with the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? This to me. But I have to put her on the side and where with the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and where with the boys.